Hey everybody, welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to be talking about this deck. I want to touch base on the fact that it is a witchy deck. It is surrounding the theme of Yule and it is Christmassy. It's also part of a series of decks. So we'll talk about that. I am going to show you the box as I am doing now. I'm going to show you the book, what's inside the book, and we'll take a look at the cards, what they look like, and different aspects of the cards. So things like how they shuffle, their size, what they look like, what they might look like in a spread, and we'll take a look at the cards in the book as well. So lots of things we're going to go over, maybe a few other things, we'll see. But starting with the box, this is a hard cardboard box, lots of artistic detail on the box. The green is reflective and there's a lot, like even there we see there's detail there on the side of the box. I'm assuming if you're thinking about this deck, you're loving the artwork, and I personally think it's gorgeous, and this deck would look beautiful on a bookshelf if you keep your boxes and display your decks on bookshelves. This is the side of it, so that's kind of what it would look like from the side as well. This box is basically large enough to hold your cards and your guidebook, so no wasted space. Lots of details. Again, this is the inside and this is the inside of the bottom half. So starting off, packaging is amazing, I think. Very practical and beautiful at the same time. And I think that's it for the box. By the way, this is Rockpool Publishing if anybody is interested in that information. Okay, looking at the guidebook, it has the same image as the box does. This is the back of the guidebook and the side. So the side does have the name of the deck as well, which is nice. If you have this sitting on a bookshelf, then you know what this is. This book has 136 numbered pages. It is colored and it has artistry thrown in throughout the book, which is beautiful. Now, before we get further into the book, I want to quickly touch on what I mentioned about this being a witchy deck surrounding the theme of Yule and Christmassy. It is part, like I said, of a series of decks. So this one is Yule Oracle Edition. So these creators have created, let me back up. So Yule, if you don't know, is a pagan witchy Wiccan holiday, one of them. And so the creators have created the deck around this holiday, but they've also created other decks around other pagan Wiccan witches holidays as well. So that's what that means, that this is part of a series of different decks, of the Seasons of the Witch decks. Now, in terms of the fact that this has Christmassy themes, is because Yule is a winter holiday and it happens around Christmas, New Year's, winter, think winter. Also, Christian and Catholic holidays, such as Christmas, they have roots in pagan traditions. So the authors actually talk about that in this guidebook. They do have a section called A Note on Religion, which is really cool that they talk about that, and they talk about the fact that you can find familiar symbols such as Christmas trees, stars, lights, giving gifts, and even Santa Claus threaded throughout pagan cultures, and that they predate Christian celebrations. So when you're working with this deck, you will come across seemingly religious cards. So that's kind of what I mean by the fact that it is Christmassy, because it does have a Christmassy vibe. If we look at the Christmas trees and the ornaments and even some of the cards, right? We'll take a look at some of the cards and see Christmas themes in those cards. But it is actually pagan and Wiccan, and this is a witch's oracle. Okay, so I wanted to just mention that. And now that I have, let's move on. So our guidebook, first page as we open it, this is what we see. This is the second. Notice how the witch is green. Nice, the word witch. We have the standard copyright information. There's an image there. And we have the table of contents. And within this, we have about the authors, about the illustrator, introduction, how to use the cards, spreads, and then the oracle cards are listed. Flipping the page, and then flipping it one more time, and this is what we arrive at. I want to mention, I love how much like artistry is in this guidebook. The images, even they're not card images, but just images on the pages. I love that. There's color. The font is pretty, to me anyways. I find the font pretty nice to look at, and I really appreciate that there's so much space here. It feels really roomy. I just the last time I recorded, the guidebook was really cramped, and this isn't, and it just makes me really appreciate it. So I love that. Also, I think worth mentioning is that the cards are in alphabetical order as well. So that's nice. So it's kind of, I find it easier to kind of look, if you're using the contents to find your card, then it's easier to find because they are listed alphabetically within the book. Okay, moving on. So we have in the intro, notice full-sized image. So we see those throughout this book as well. So I really appreciate that. I love that. But moving on. So we have about the authors, like I said, or we saw in the contents about the illustrator, and we have introduction. And within the intro, we have information about Yule and about the year, like they call it the wheel turning, if you're not familiar with Wiccan and witches and pagan stuff. The call for diversity and magic, reclaiming, shifting the witch image. Then we have, I believe it's the note on religion, yes. And full-size image, and then how to use the cards. So we have that section, and then it goes into spreads. So this gives us 7 spreads, guys. Amazing. We don't have a 1-card spread, but it starts with a 3-card spread. And even the 3-card spread, look at how many examples they give you of how you can use a 3-card spread. I love that. We have an interview your deck spread. Yes, thank you. Love it. Christmas cross tarot spread, which is actually like essentially, I think, a Celtic cross from quick glance. We have Evergreen Wrath, and then Star Tarot spread, the Winter Care spread, and then Year Ahead. Worth mentioning as well is each of these spreads has a little bit of on like what the spread is for. So some decks will only have information about like the positions of the cards. This one actually gives you a little bit more information. So for instance, the Star Tarot spread. The spread is all about finding hope and positivity. This is a great spread to do when you're having a bad day or just need to feel uplifted. Additionally, the spread is an excellent choice after engaging in shadow work or healing after trauma. So, yeah. I feel like that's a really great example of that the creators of this deck really cared about the product that they released, I think. And I think a lot of creators do, of course. I think their projects are personal to them, but there's definitely quality in this, I think, you know. And that is an example of that. But moving past the spreads, we go into oracle cards. And this is the rest of the guidebook. And we'll look at that as well. But flipping all the way to the last card, what we have is acknowledgements. And then there's information about the next deck, which would be the Beltane Oracle. And then the previous deck, which was Samhain, if I pronounced that correctly. And that is the guidebook, guys. So very pretty, very nice. Love it. We'll go into the cards and come back to the book. But I want to show you the cards now. So this is the deck. It's a pretty standard size, I think, for an oracle deck. Notice the detail here. So it's got really pretty, what I forget, gilded? It's gilded, is that what it's called? Gilding the borders of the cards. So these are gorgeous. They do rub off as you use the deck. They look less impressive. The best time is when they're new, but it is what it is. But just, again, just very nice deck. Very well presented deck. The lamination on these cards is pretty heavy. It doesn't bother me when I'm just using them. This is just when I'm recording and the light is shining, reflecting is kind of annoying and blinding. But otherwise, it's not terrible when I'm using this deck just like normally, right? Outside of what I'm doing right now with it. I feel that the lamination really kind of helps to protect them. Also, it makes them easier, I find, to work with because they have some slide. So for me, it's not bad because they're not super huge. I can see this being a problem for somebody who has small hands and the cards would be hard for them to handle and they're just like slipping and sliding everywhere. For me, this is okay. And in terms of size, actually, let me just show you as a comparison. This would probably be like a standard. Okay, one moment. All right, I was just digging for a tarot card that was kind of more YouTube appropriate and I found one. So for size comparison, this is about a standard sized tarot card. So this is what size this oracle card, that card is, I guess I should say, okay? If that gives you an idea there. They're not super thick, not super thin, very nice to work with. This is the back. Almost looks like it could be reversible, except not. But there's no reversals in this deck as well. So that's something I think to know about this, that there are no reversal meanings in the guidebook. Okay, so I feel like this is a good time to show you guys a flip through of these cards. After the flip through, we'll take a look at the themes as we're flipping as well to give you an idea of what themes are in this deck. And then maybe we'll take a look at some of the cards in the book to show you guys what that looks like. And after that, we'll do the shuffle and kind of take a look at what they would look like in a spread. So let's start the flip through. And I just want to quickly say that I do have links for flip throughs in the description. Those are recorded in 4K. I'm not trying to self-advertise, but if you're looking for just a flip through, no talking, 4K, better images, better quality, basically in terms of a flip through, if you just want to look at the cards, check that out, okay? And having said that, let's move on. So we have Bear Medicine. So we have, I guess, animal representation right there. We have Candle Magic, Cardinal Medicine, again, animal representation, Ceremony, Chills, Cold Moon, Contemplation. So I feel like Chills and Cold Moon are probably part of the sort of like cards where it's about, well, if you can kind of infer what that would be, kind kind of like a watch out, or maybe like shadow work, like not necessarily shadow work, but definitely like it has, I don't want to say negative, but it has like, it definitely is like a more of like an inward looking energy, right? So is this one, but this one is about contemplation. So this one makes me feel like this is more about like actually looking inwards. We have crone, wisdom, so maybe a little bit like contemplation. Darkest hour makes me think of kind of shadow work. Dove, medicine. Falling in love, family. Father Christmas. Can't even start to begin. Like, I mean, I can begin to infer what this means, but I wonder what it actually means in the book. Feasting, forest, frost. So I feel like this kind of has those, this one kind of is probably similar to chills, and what was the other one? Cold moon. I feel like those energies are probably similar. Gatherings, gratitude. Interesting that gratitude is in such a desolate place, but isn't that just right? That's probably when we most need to feel gratitude, or should need to. I guess that's when it's most appropriate to tap into that energy that might be most helpful to us, if we can, right? When we feel desolate. We have hearth, we have light, merriment, milestone, mistletoe, sorry about that. Mother Mary, offerings, ornaments, perseverance, poinsettia, reindeer medicine, remembering, ringing the bells, self-care, silent night, snow, solstice, squirrel medicine, star, storm, telling stories, tranquility, turning inwards, the unknown, wise men, breath, and Yule. So hopefully that gave you a bit of an idea of the themes, especially if you know about Yule, about witchy stuff, Wiccan, pagan stuff. If you don't still, I hope you kind of got a feel for the cards, for the energies. And I think let's take a look at some examples of these. So how about, let's do contemplation, and we'll look at the book. So contemplation. So this is card number 7. Okay. All right, card number 7. So in the book, I just want to show you this because in the book we have keywords, but on the card we actually don't have keywords. In the book we do. I don't know why they're not on the card, but in the book we do. And also I want to point out that this right here, this is what the creators call a poem. And what they said that you can do with that is use it as an invocation. So we're going to just actually flip back into the book and I'll show you what that means. So right there. So what they're saying is that you can use these to invoke the energies of the corresponding card. And you would speak them out loud and like a declaration to seek the card's energy in your life. It puts that intention out there into the universe. So it kind of gives an example. Does it actually, let's see. Okay, so yeah, so it just basically, it's kind of like intention, manifestation type thing. So I wanted to mention that because that is like a pretty big part of this deck. And now going back, let's see what it actually says. So this is contemplation. You can go ahead and take a look at that image and we'll read what it says. It breathes in the stillness of all that is, exhaling all that isn't, coming from the ends of the starts and the highest of the lows. Here I gasp for the answers to unfold. So I feel like that's in with the theme of contemplation. And this is what the guidebook says. Things naturally slow down during the cold months, making winter a prime season for contemplation. When days are short, nights are freezing, and the outdoor options are limited, there's often little else to do but think about your life. It's natural to examine how your life measures up to your idea of success, and reflection is a critical component of any successful path. There are times of planning and times for action, but reviewing your progress is how you learn and change course when necessary. You are being guided to reflect on your situation. Are there things you could have done differently? Is there still time to change your situation for the better or salvage anything after the damage? Knowing where you can improve will help you to be better prepared should you find yourself in this situation again. Contemplation can also be a boost to your self-worth. How did you succeed in this situation? Are there any things you can pat yourself on the back about? Acknowledge your shortcomings by making a plan to do better next time, and celebrate your wins because you deserve to. So I feel like this deck has kind of repeating themes, like Silent Nights. I'm not sure what card number that was, but that is kind of similar. Like, it's definitely different, but let's see. I'll just find it in here. It definitely has a similar theme. 105. Okay, that's the card. And this is what this one talks about. Okay, you are being guided to pause and reevaluate your situation. See? Now is not the time to move forward with your plans just yet, as you may even find your goals coming to a complete standstill. So if you want to pause this and keep reading, go ahead. But essentially, like, they're similar themes. Definitely the messages are different because this is more of a take time. Like, okay, you need to kind of figure it out for yourself as well. But this is more about, like, was this really worth it? Is this where you really want to be? Like, the messages are similar, but this one I feel is, like, stronger in terms of really examining, I guess. It's almost like the next step to contemplation. But I find that probably there's a lot of cards like that in this deck that have that similar type of thing going on. Mainly, I just wanted to show you guys kind of like the layout of how this is created. So again, we have the card here. They are numbered. The cards are numbered as well, so that's easy. You can find them easily in the guidebook. We have that poem, and then we have the information for the card. And most of the cards will have like 2 sides of a page, or like maybe 3 sides of a page, and that is pretty much standard for this deck. Okay, again, lots of like artistic stuff here, beautifully made. And I think maybe that's all we're going to do. I wanted to I just wanted to take a look at one more card, and that would be the Wise Men card, because in the book where it talks about the religious ties, it talks about this card, and this is a representation of Jesus. So I want to see what actually it says in here about that card. Okay, keyword, intellect, power, conviction. Okay, so that's it for this section. We're going to move on, and I am going to show you what these cards would look like in a reading. We'll do a shuffle and just lay some cards out. So they shuffle like this. They're very comfortable for me to shuffle, no issues at all. If you want to riffle shuffle, if that's what that is called, I'm pretty sure I keep saying that's what it is. Hopefully it is. Oh, wow. Okay, so that was totally my mess up, and I think it's because I'm recording. It's just kind of awkward, but I've never had issues actually doing it this way. I feel like that was one of the first time. Maybe I did when the deck was brand new, but I've used it a few times, and honestly, no issues there. Okay, so here you are. All right, and let's just take a few cards out just to show you what they might look like if you're doing a reading with them. Darkest Hour. Let's see. Family. I'm just going to put that there for ease. We have Crone. Crone's not really visible. Maybe we'll put that there just to give you an idea. Let's maybe do another card. Frost. Wise Men. Feasting. Right? So let me see. Sorry about that glare there. Seems like I can't really get rid of it unless I do this. Okay, there we go. Yes, okay. And now let's say you're using this deck alongside other cards as well. So I'm going to show you what that might look like. Whoops. Okay. So let's say you're doing like tarot cards, right? Just kind of standard size tarot cards. That's kind of what you're looking at here, okay? I'm sorry, this is a bit of a mess. My recording space is a bit tight, so it's difficult to work with at times, but okay, there. So basically try to make the best of that, right? Situation there. Let's see. So I hope that kind of gives you an idea of what this would look like if you're using it in alongside other cards as well. I'm going to give you another one, like a much larger oracle card, to kind of, maybe we'll put that one there. Look at. Oh, and that's really glary. Sorry about that. We'll do that. We'll do that. Okay. Right. So I think that's going to do it for now. I think I covered everything that I intended to cover in this video. I would like to work with this deck a little bit more and actually get to know the cards more deeply. And when I do that, I will do another updated video and we'll talk more about the content and more like individual cards and sort of like more about the themes of each card and how they repeat, or like kind of like more in detail about that. So I'll link that if and when that video happens. If it does, it's going to be quite a while because I do have to learn all the 44 cards. But for now, hopefully this was enough. I hope you enjoyed this, and if you've commented, subscribed, shared, liked. So I'm going to end it here. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time with a different deck. Bye!